Welcome to The Explainer. Today we are diving into a problem that is, well, as old as humanity itself. How do you quiet that non-stop chatter in your own head? We're going to decode two ancient yogic principles, Abhyasa and vairagya, to find a really practical way to master the modern mind. And it all comes down to this surprising harmony between effort and surrender.
So let's start with something I'm pretty sure we all know. That relentless, sometimes maddening noise that's always going on inside our own heads.
You know what I'm talking about, right? Your thoughts are just racing, you're replaying conversations, worrying about what's next. Well, the ancient yogis had a name for this, chitta vritti. It basically means the fluctuations of the mind, and their number one goal was, you guessed it, to find a way to make it stop.
Yeah, so according to the foundational text on this stuff, Patanjali's Yoga Sutras, the entire point of yoga is summed up right here. The second sutra defines yoga as chitta vritti nirodha, the stilling of these mental patterns. So it's not really about nailing a handstand, it's about achieving this deep sense of mental quiet.
Okay, so how do we actually get to this quiet place? Well, Patanjali doesn't just leave us hanging. In Sutra 1.12, he's super clear about it. He says this stillness comes from two core principles that are designed to work together like a single powerful method, Abhyasa and vairagya.
Now, at first glance, the common translations seem pretty simple. Abhyasa means practice or effort. Vairagya means detachment or letting go. But when you stick them side by side and say they're one single method, it starts to feel like a bit of a logical puzzle.
And this is where it gets really, really interesting. Because just looking at the surface-level translation, you kind of miss the genius of what Patanjali is actually talking about here.
If you're thinking, wait, that seems like a weird combo, you are absolutely on the right track. One is an action. It's something you do. The other is a state of being. The pairing just seems so strange that one scholar actually compared it to a famous, completely nonsensical riddle.
So to solve this riddle, we've got to look past those simple, one-word definitions. We have to dig into how Patanjali himself defined these terms to really get their elegant harmony.
Let's start with Abhyasa. It turns out this isn't about just mindlessly repeating something or, just showing up. It's a very specific and a very intentional kind of effort.
Patanjali clears this up for us in the very next sutra, 1.13. He defines Abhyasa as the dedicated, continuous effort to get to and stay in a state of stito, which means stable tranquility. So you see, it's not practice for practice's sake. It's the specific effort to be calm and steady. And Patanjali doesn't just tell us what to do, he gives us a clear roadmap for how to do it so it actually works. Sutra 1.14 lays out three essential conditions for making this effort stick, for making it, as he says, firmly rooted.
Okay, so first, this practice has to be kept up over a long period. This is a marathon, not a sprint. Second, it has to be done continuously, without big breaks that kind of reset all your progress. And third, and this is key, it has to be done with what the text calls satkara, a sense of sincerity, positivity, almost a reverence. So it's not a chore, it's something you cultivate with devotion.
So if Abhyasa is our engine, pushing us forward, vairagya is the steering. But its real meaning is probably one of the most misunderstood ideas in all of yoga philosophy. It is not about becoming cold or indifferent.
This is so important. Vairagya is not about the impossible and frankly unhealthy goal of just getting rid of your emotions. One scholar, Andrei Safronov, points out that trying to dry up your emotions is like trying to stop yourself from sweating. You can't. And trying just leads to repression. True masters are often described as deeply expressive people, not emotionless robots.
Instead, vairagya is an active skill. It's way better understood as non-indulgence or skillful disengagement. It's the conscious choice to observe your thoughts and feelings as they pop up, but choosing not to get tangled up in them. It's like you see the hook, but you just don't bite. It's the deliberate act of letting go of how you think things should turn out.
All right, so now that we have these much richer definitions, that whole Mad Hatter riddle, it just solves itself beautifully.
Abhyasa is the steady effort that moves you forward. It's the discipline. Vairagya is the wisdom of surrender that keeps you from getting totally derailed by your successes, your failures, and your attachment to how things are supposed to be. They are a perfect, dynamic pair.
The legendary yoga master B.K.S. Iyengar captured this idea perfectly with his incredible metaphor. He said, you need both wings, the consistent effort and the graceful letting go, to get the balance you need for real mental freedom. I mean, one without the other, you're just going to end up spinning in circles.
Now, this ancient framework is not just some lofty philosophical concept. It's an unbelievably practical tool for dealing with pretty much any challenge or goal in our modern lives.
Let's look at how this actually plays out. On a yoga mat, Abhyasa is the discipline of showing up every day. Vairagya is the grace to not obsess over having a perfect pose. If you have a fitness goal, Abhyasa is committing to the workout, and vairagya is letting go of your attachment to the number on the scale. Even at work, Abhyasa is putting in the hard work, while vairagya is detaching from needing a specific title or recognition. It's that perfect balance of doing the work and surrendering the results.
So the real takeaway from all this ancient wisdom isn't just an idea to think about, it's a question for you to reflect on. When you look at your own goals, your own challenges, which wing do you need to strengthen? Is it the wing of consistent, dedicated practice? Or is it the wing of letting go, of surrendering the outcome so you can finally find your balance and soar?